Hey guys, today we're going to do a few examples with absolute value inequalities. So let's hop right in. So we're going to do this first one up here in the top left. So to do this, we already have the absolute values isolated on the left side. So we'll just go ahead and split it into our two equations. So we'll have x is less than 4. And then this is pointing to the left, so this will be an and then x is greater than 4. Okay, and it looks like, greater than negative 4. Remember to change the sign on that. Okay, and it's already solved for us, so we don't even have to do anything else. So there we go. All right. So that was a little bit easy, but let's look at one that's a little bit more normal maybe. This one in the top right up here, k plus 8 is greater than 2. So it's already isolated on the left side, so we can go ahead and split it into our two inequalities. So we'll have k plus 8 is greater than 2. This one's pointing to the right, so this one's going to be or k plus 8 is less than negative 2. Switch that sign and also switch the direction of your arrow. So go from greater than to less than. And then just solve. So we're going to subtract the 8. So we'll have k is greater than negative 6. Or subtract the 8. K is less than negative 10. And there's our answer. Okay. Let's take a look at a few more here. So we're going up in difficulty every time, trying to get a little more complicated. So let's look at this one. First of all, notice that there is a negative right there. Okay, and that's going to be one of our special cases. So remember, anytime you have a negative, so if you've already isolated the absolute values on the left, and you have that greater than or less than a negative, that's going to be one of our special cases. In this case, if the absolute value is greater than negative 2, that means that the answer is going to be all real numbers, because every positive number, which is that's what we get out of absolute values, every positive number is greater than a negative 2. So the answer to this one is just all real numbers. All right, let's look at one more. And actually, this is going to come out to be similar, so I'm going to change it. There we go. All right, so let's solve this one. So first step we want to do is we want to isolate the absolute values. So we have this minus 5 here. Before we split our inequality into two inequalities, before we kind of go through that process that we know, we want to first of all isolate the absolute value, or get it by itself on that side of the inequality. So let's take that minus 5 and add it to the right. So we'll have 5y minus 2 is greater than 5. 0 plus 5 is 5. Okay, now we can split it into our two inequalities. So we'll have 5y minus 2 is greater than 5. And then this one's going to be or 5y minus 2 is less than negative 5. And then let's solve. So we'll add 2 to the right. So we'll have 5y is greater than 7. And then we can divide by 5. So y will be greater than 7 over 5. That's supposed to be a 5. Let's try that again. Or add the 2, so we'll have 5y less than negative 3, and divide by 5, so we'll have y less than negative 3/5. Now, one thing before we end the video, it's supposed to be a 5. One thing before we end the video is, what if we divide or multiply by a negative number? And remember that. So let's just look at this bottom right area. And let's say that instead of 5y, let's just say that we had a negative in here. Okay, so we're changing the problem a little bit. Let's say that it's negative 5y equals negative 3. Anytime we divide by a negative number, in this case the negative 5, anytime we divide by that negative number, we have to flip the direction of our arrow. So we have to go from less than to greater than, or from greater than to less than. So we would write it as y, and I just realized this is probably over my face. So let's scoot over here where y'all can see. So let's say instead we had the negative 5y, and we divide by 5. So we're going to change the sign from a less than to a greater than, if I can write. And then it'll be a negative 3 over negative 5, which is just a 3 over 5. Okay, so y will be greater than 3/5. So we flip the direction of that arrow. But anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask. And I'll see you all next time.